Today's episode of This Week in Startups is brought to you by MailChimp. Manage lists with up to 2,000 subscribers and send 12,000 emails per month for free with MailChimp. And by Sourcebits. Visit www.sourcebits.com to begin your mobile app development journey.
Hey everybody, it's Friday, so it's our news roundtable. Erik Lanigan is back by popular demand to read the news. Adeo Ressi is here from the Founder Institute to talk about the news, and Ryan Block from Gadget is with us. Stick around.
That's what it's all about, man. They said money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you. Yeah. Money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you.
Introducing the newest members of the This Week in Startups producer program.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. It is your host, Jason Calacanis. We are here on This Week in Startups. It's our news roundtable. This is the episode of the week. We have 2 episodes every week. On Tuesday, we do like a founder interview. That's in-depth with one person talking about their story, their struggles, the whole entrepreneurial thing, being a samurai, getting your butt kicked, kicking ass, all that kind of great stuff. But then on Fridays, we talk about the news because there's so much going on. And boy, do we have a great roundtable here at CNET, CBS Interactive. And thanks again to my friend Jim Lanzone and Stephen Beacham, who is an amazing producer over here. Thank you, Stephen.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Stephen.
I don't have a camera, so.
Oh, no camera today. Yeah, that's okay. And what a great experience I've had here doing the episodes at CNET, and what an amazing website they have and all the great stuff. Actually, my favorite CNET website, Metacritic. I will not go see a movie without checking Metacritic first, and I find all my good movies there. We've got an amazing roundtable. Adeo Ressi, one of my oldest friends from New York City, serial entrepreneur, and before he hung it up starting companies, or after starting a bunch of companies, he hung it up and then started something called the Founders Institute, which is the largest global accelerator. And it's now in how many cities, Adeo?
Well, so 21 formally, but if you dig a little deeper, you'll see we're actually in 25. So we have 4 secret ones that are coming out.
And the Founders Institute, I remember I spoke at one of the first events. The
first one.
I did? It was at the first. It was the first class.
I think I spoke at your show in 1995, which was also broadcast on
Absolutely. That was my first show, Meet the Alley or something. Oh, no. At Pseudo when I was doing Silicon Valley Reporter, now, that was 4 years ago when you started the Institute?
No. It's
3?
like 2 years, under 3 years.
3 years about, I think.
2.7.
Okay, all right.
Who's splitting hairs?
Right, but anyway, in that time, you've gone to 20-plus cities.
Yeah.
And the Founders Institute, unlike, say, Y Combinator or Techstars, is really almost like what comes before those.
Yeah.
Like how to become an entrepreneur, how to find an idea, and how to find a co-founder. Would you say those are the main things?
Right. So Startup Weekend is, hey, what's it like to work in a startup? So you get a lot of people who are curious. But once they have the bug and they want to get going, they tend to go in the Founder Institute. And then a bunch of grads go into other programs like 500 Startups. I was at their graduation last night, and we had 10% of the class.
Wow.
Our
It's amazing how the ecosystem is growing and how much Founders Institute has grown. Also with us, Ryan Block, who is the co-founder of Gadget, GDGT.com. And before that, we worked together on Engadget. And,
that's right, Weblogs Inc.
And Weblogs Inc. I always consider you
AOL.
one of the co-founders of Engadget.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
That says a lot.
Yeah. What an amazing time we had building that brand.
We did.
And now GDGT doing very well, beautifully designed and getting
you.
some traction. And the events have been tremendous.
Events are amazing.
Like,
we're
how
actually
many people
launching
showed up at the San Francisco event?
over 1,000.
1,000 people showed up. Madon.
A lot of gadgets.
That is amazing.
A lot of nerds.
And how many vendors show up to show off their wares?
30 to 50, depending on the event.
It's like bigger than a Showstoppers or something.
It's pretty big.
1,000 people.
We're actually launching our 2012 tour next week.
Awesome. What's the first city?
It's going to be South by. awesome.
At South by, right. So March 9th, 10th, 11th, what day?
Check the tour date.
Oh, check the tour date.
On the site.
Go to
I don't know.
GDGT.com and sign up. And also, you guys have a deal with Engadget, right?
Yeah, we're pushing out some data to those guys.
Awesome. Start on their website.
Got some really cool stuff coming.
Hey, and talking about cool stuff, Erik Lanigan is with us. Welcome back.
Hello, thanks for having me back.
You have a little cult following, don't you there, Sonny?
Starting to have
a little cult following, and you did a great job on the news. You were a little nervous last week, weren't you?
I did, yeah.
A little bit nervous, but you did a good job.
A little bit nervous. I've been intimidated by the panel here, so, you know.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. You did a great job reading the news, and you don't have to know all the topics in every story. You're here to read the news, and then maybe you comment one out of every 2 or 3 stories if you got something to say, but if you just read the news, that's a mitzvah in itself, because I need somebody to do that. And the audience loves you, by the way. There was a lot of positive feedback. Mm-hmm. Hey, and something you will have positive feedback on is, of course, MailChimp.
Is that the actual MailChimp?
That's the ad. We're done. I mean, I'm 41 freaking years old and I'm ing into a microphone. But you know what? I love it because MailChimp is such a great product. I've used it for a number of years. I sent out, just yesterday, I wrote an email blog post. Hey, what is the story with the Kill Hollywood Paul Graham message? And I wrote, hey, we need to embrace Hollywood. And so Paul Graham wrote a great blog post. Or I shouldn't say a great blog post. I thought it was a terrible blog post. But from a really smart guy in a great group. And I responded in email. And boy, all of a sudden, 500 people say, Jason, you're the smartest guy. Or that was really a great counterbalance, whatever. And I get all this great feedback. And I tell you something, that is the power of email. You're going to change your social network like you change your underwear once every 3 years. No, but you're going to change social networks. You're going to change from Twitter to Facebook to Google Plus to Path, but the email stays the same. That is the magic of the internet. It's your permanent record address. And once you capture that email from somebody, you will have an amazing, amazing experience. You've used MailChimp.
Yeah, I don't really like to shill for companies, but
no, of course not. I know you have integrity, but you do use the product.
You know me, right?
Yes.
Like, I'm not going to go out there and be like, oh, I love it. But we use MailChimp. That's what we use to send our newsletters at Gadget.
Us too.
It's amazing. I mean,
it's
they do a
very good.
really good job.
Look at that, huh? 3 out of 3 panelists.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I think we send maybe, 10, 15,000 distribution.
And amazing.
Awesome.
Rock solid. And I had so many problems with the other providers where my emails would bounce.
I like
people
it.
would say
Funny.
they don't get it.
It has a sense of humor, too. It's a product with a sense of humor. You don't see that.
Let me tell you something. Even beyond just using the product, go take a look at it, because if you want to see excellent product design with character, with emotion, which is really, I'll tell you something. I'm having a hell of a time at Mahalo building apps, because we're building good apps, and I need to get it to great. And the piece that I haven't been able to master yet is really a design with emotion and design with character. I'm personally working on that myself, and I study things like Path and MailChimp to find that little extra 10, 20% that you put into a product. Go check it out, and thank you to MailChimp for sponsoring independent media. Like This Week in Startups. Erik, for the love of God, let me get a news story from you.
All right, shall we start with some Netflix news? Reid Hastings, the CEO, had a public letter recently, the other day, talking about that they're doing great. People, when they had a Quixster announcement that then they retracted on, everyone said that's silly. DVDs, he acknowledges, continue to plummet. They're now at half the number of DVD subscribers that they are at streaming, which is a big milestone. It's now 2-to-1 streaming to DVD. He says that doesn't matter because streaming is the future. He says he's not going to even try to get the DVD people back, win those customers back or grow that. He's going to let that just gradually die off. And yet he acknowledged that Amazon may certainly, rumor has it, launch an independent standalone product for their streaming service. They have about 7 to 8 million subscribers right now compared to Netflix, 20 million, but right now it's tied into their $80 a year Amazon Prime service. They may spin that off into a product that month per month is cheaper than Netflix. What do you guys think? Will Amazon come in and just sweep this over, or is Netflix uniquely positioned to be the best here?
Well, let me just ask one thing first. Who's watched a Netflix movie streaming in the last 60 days? 1, 2.
Actually, I haven't.
You haven't? Wow, that's sort of big.
Honestly.
How do you get your movies? Do you watch movies?
I still use the DVD service from them.
Oh, you do? So you have used Netflix in the last 60 days, but not streaming.
Let me clarify. I haven't had very much time to watch movies in the last 60
you've been
days.
busy, yes.
But yes, when I do watch them from Netflix, I use the disc service. I use BluRay specifically because it's like the most maxed out picture and audio. Like you can't get any better than that. But that's a short-term advantage, right? That's
is
not
that
something
your-
that's not an advantage they're going to have forever.
Is that your
Blu-ray.
personal preference because you're just like really into the hardware and stuff like that as an
No.
aficionado?
It's
Like
actually-
you don't like
selection.
watching streaming?
It's selection. I love watching streaming. I love
do?
it.
Okay.
I would prefer it. But if you could get the quality of first-run titles in streaming, you just can't. It's just the reality. It's great. They've done a great job. It's a great product. I love it. I've been a Netflix user for like 10 years, but as good as that streaming is, you don't have the selection. It's just not there.
If Netflix had a base price of $9 for the library of X number of titles, and then plus $1, plus $3 for, some first-run titles, would you be offended or thrilled with that?
Oh, slam dunk. I would totally do it.
Who's your cable provider, though?
Comcast.
See, I use Comcast, and they have like every movie that I could want on demand. So it's been...
Oh, but see, we were talking about this before. I have TiVo, and TiVo doesn't support on demand, unfortunately.
So what ends up happening, which is, for me, the end, it's just the convenience factor. Comcast has this amazing iPad app that you can search every movie, record it, play it,
and
play
now
it on
are
the
these
iPad.
These the movies that are on Showtime and HBO?
Not
currently?
only those, but they have the ones on demand.
They also have some
as
libraries,
well.
so they're building their own library.
And it's comprehensive. I mean, I've never thought of a movie that I might want to see that isn't in theaters, that isn't on demand.
Right.
So basically, as the second it leaves the screen, give or take, whenever it comes out, maybe it's a week off.
So no Netflix for you?
I just don't... the utility of it diminished when Comcast came out with, great streaming product.
Yeah. I know I'm the minority, but I canceled my streaming subscription to Netflix. I just never used it.
Huh, interesting. See, I'm a big fan of docs, so I do watch a doc every 2 or 3 weeks on it, but it is incredibly frustrating to not have a good selection, and I feel like I would pay triple the price for just double the selection. Right?
Yeah.
I would pay $25 a month to have to double the selection.
Yeah.
It's just too anemic.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but then again, it's what is that against what you're already using? So right now, if you're using Comcast, it has a lot of what most consumers want.
Right.
You're really talking about a minority play.
Yeah.
So do you guys see Amazon's Prime service as a credible threat, or how is Netflix doing this so cheaply?
Can I just throw something out? Amazon has had all the raw material to make some kick-ass products, and they just haven't, right?
Yeah.
So
why? They're just so focused on the core business?
That's a good question. You would think that the Kindle One could have been better than what it is, though it did rather well, but it just could have been better, and it wasn't. So I just don't think they're a product company. They're a retailer.
Kindle Fire, I would be interested in
Even
hearing-
the Kindle Fire is not that great.
The Kindle Fire is a piece of junk, but it's a $199 piece of junk. That's selling 1 million a week or something, Ryan?
It's selling a lot.
Yeah.
The thing with Amazon, and I actually have a little bit of kind of inside knowledge on this.
Yeah.
They are not a product company.
Right.
You are correct. But Bezos thinks that he is a product guy. And with the success of the Kindle, he started to think of himself more...
He's emboldened.
Yes.
Right. So
and he started
take
to think of
someone-
himself more as
Steve
maybe
Jobs.
a spiritual successor. I think you're going to see a lot of people in very big companies over the next few years want to be... want to
Jobs
think of
next.
themselves as the next Steve Jobs,
Right.
And you already see a lot of people treating themselves this way.
But that's a
And
little
though they
delusional.
are- it's insane. It's
Right.
but
Clearly,
that's another
if
conversation.
you take the Kindle and you put it next to any Apple product developed in the same period of time, it's basically brick versus
Elegance.
yeah. I mean,
It's
but you can't fault them for wanting to be be a better product company,
yeah.
yeah, I
They're-
want to
they're
be
not-
a better
they're not a-
downhill
they're not a
skier,
great-
but I have back problems and I don't exercise. So,
Right.
the reality is,
So do you think Amazon will be able to make significantly better products than the Kindle Fire? And does it even matter because he's willing to sell it at no margin, he seems to have a place in the ecosystem. Kindle Fire and Android
Negative
tablets.
margin, actually.
Yeah, he's losing $25 or something. Probably could afford to lose more with all the money they're making off of e-commerce.
the problem with that statement, Jason, is that at some point in time, quality does matter. At some point in time,
Well, we're sort of seeing that on desktops, I guess, right?
Well, the iPad versus the Kindle is a great example. My father travels a ton, older guy, bought him an iPad. Could have bought him a Kindle, but I'm it's just a better product, right?
But if he'd have gone out and bought it himself, he would have probably bought a Kindle, right?
Yeah, $200.
I think he
it's
would
got
have not.
what
He
I
would
need.
have just been dumbfounded. He
super
probably would have
committed.
bought some like salesperson's recommendation for like a Motorola device.
Well, but I mean, if you're not super committed to the idea and you never owned a tablet and you're not like really kind of tuned into that, you're just going to go with what's cheap because it's least risk.
Right.
For now.
And that's
Right.
why the Kindle Fire is doing gangbusters.
For now.
And is a credible threat to the iPad franchise, yes?
I don't know about that.
Not okay, so it's filling in the market, and then those Kindle Fire people will eventually get iPad envy, and it will be the bridge device iPad.
I think there's going to be some up conversion. There's going to be some down conversion. I think it's going to go a little bit both ways. I think you're right. I think it's more filling in the market. Than
it may not be an iPad, by the way. It could be, a next generation Samsung or something like that. There's definitely a room in the market for a higher quality product than what Amazon's been able to provide historically. Now, the Amazon has a great advantage, though, because they own all the content.
Yeah.
So the fact that they haven't yet created that killer
Well, for
thing.
commerce, it's amazing.
What content do they own? They don't own content.
Well, let me rephrase. They have access to amazing amounts
Yes,
of content.
that is
the
absolutely
digital
true.
books is a great example.
That they essentially own.
digital books they have on
they
lockdown.
have that.
Now they have 11,000 titles on the streaming service, and I found some good titles on that streaming service for television. It's amazing, and I think they backed up $100 million or something.
Yeah, but
to CBS.
it feels to me like Netflix 6 months ago, right? Like they're always like 6 months behind Netflix on
They're
titles.
not as committed. They're not as all in. So I guess the
Right.
question is, will they go
With
all
a
in?
touchscreen from 6 years ago.
Yeah, they have to go. I think for Amazon, they need to go all in movies like this. They need to double the number of titles. And one of the things is if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, I'm guaranteeing you have on a regular basis Amazon product coming to your house. People who are Amazon Prime people have a couple of boxes a week. You're Prime?
Yeah.
How many boxes per week?
I don't know. It's kind of mixed for me because I actually bought Prime for the office. So I could order a bunch of stuff for the company whenever we needed it.
every
But now
week-
it's like kind of mixed and I use my own stuff on it.
So essentially 2 or 3 boxes
A lot of,
combined.
plenty of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. I check
Now-
Amazon first. And if it's available on Amazon with Prime, I'm more
So
likely
you
to buy
check
it than
the
anything.
search box Prime.
Oh, yeah.
That's
it has to
exactly
be
how
Prime.
I
Yeah.
search. If it's not Prime, I
exactly.
don't want
If
it
it's
in my
not Prime,
search
I'm
results.
not interested. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is the cult of Prime that I've written about, and since you already have the stuff coming on a regular basis, they could offer the DVD service of Netflix, and it would piggyback on stuff that's already being shipped in all likelihood.
Yeah, but
And
that's like
they could let you buy the
logistics of
DVD.
Netflix is not something that Amazon can just easily implement.
Oh no, I think it can. They've already got so many boxes going out.
Yeah,
No, it's
they're
not
the
about
biggest
the
logistics
boxes.
company in the country now.
No,
Yes.
they are a logistics company, but it's like saying that's a square peg round hole thing. Like they're a logistics out, not in, repackage, resend.
I don't know.
out.
I mean, I think they
That's-
figured that out. I mean, the thing is,
you can. A lot of people can figure a lot of things out, but again,
here's the thing. I don't think that it matters
and anyway,
how much time.
that business is dead.
I don't know that it's dead yet. And I think that a lot of the streaming business certainly isn't, and that's a growing thing. And if you think about the shipping of the DVDs, it doesn't really matter how long it takes for them to get to you, as long as it's like less than a week or something. Like you just leave like 4 or 5 movies laying around.
Yeah, most people have a queue. So
Right. So I think that if they just, I used to subscribe on Netflix to an 8 or 9 disc per month, $50 per month option, which they never publicized. It was like a
the
hidden
super
feature.
maxed out. Yeah, you had to really dig. I know the one you're talking
Yeah,
about.
you had. I think you basically had to email them, or they had it like on a page, but it was nowhere on the site. And it was 9 discs for $45, and that's what I used to use because I'd be like, you know what, I'll spend $600 a year. I don't need to order all these cable channels, and I'll just keep discs racked up. And they just collected dust. I never got to them.
yeah.
All right. So your question was, is the streaming service from Amazon going to be big? Yes, it is, of course. Next story.
Okay, well,
Well,
whether
actually, but this all came from a rumor, right? And the rumor was from the New York Post. I just want to be totally clear on this part, right? I think they're going to do it. I think it's got to happen at some point. But
They've already half done it with the streaming video service.
they've half done it, but it's not its own independent product yet.
Right.
I think Netflix is smart to see it coming. I think Amazon will be smart to actually do it. But it's a rumor. The rumor came from the New York Post. New York Post has possibly the worst track record on
Of
tech
course.
of any publication in the world.
That's a good
So
point. It's a
take it
fair
with a grain
point.
of salt.
Yeah, and I think my personal belief is Netflix gets bought by Google, Quixster gets bought by Google, and then put into YouTube, and then you have soup to nuts. You can, as a director, raise money for your project, then go make your movie, then Put the promote your movie on YouTube with
Monetize
clips
it.
and trailers. No, not monetize. Just promote it. Trailers to the billions of views a day, trillions of views a month, and then put it on Netflix and have a streaming service.
This is in Jason's dream world. Plus, now they just updated their editor, so then you can edit the movie.
Then YouTube will buy theaters. Next story.
Okay, well, regardless of how you get your cord-cutting content, if you are a cord cutter, one of your favorite devices to get that content to your television set may be a Boxee box. And Boxee just announced a $50 live TV dongle. It's essentially, if you've seen like an iTV from Elgato, that kind of device.
Yes.
Hapage. It's a little USB stick. It plugs in. Normally it uses with a computer. Has a space for an ATSC
It's a tuner.
over the air. Yeah, it's an over-the-air tuner. It goes into the Boxee box. And then when you do that, you do not get a DVR, not yet, at least not with the current hardware. But they say that you'll get an on-screen guide, like a little, listings, and you'll get access to integrated Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter sharing. So do you guys think this is worth even $49? Because if you already have a TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not.
Sorry, this is nothing.
The only thing about Boxee is, I'll tell you, for all these solutions, and it's taking. They need to have a full solution. TV is getting too hard. It used to be operating a TV was like a power button, volume, and changing the channel, and then they add the guide. And now it's become, there's just too many options. Like
so
streaming
service,
but VOD
Boxee Plus built in.
Exactly.
And by the way, how many people use that? Like literally, like
nobody.
So this is a true story. There's a company I know who's like, I'm gonna build Samsung apps. I'm like, I really think that's a bad idea, but let me check for you. So I had a friend, a top guy at Samsung. I'm like, I know this company. They're gonna build apps for the Samsung app platform. What do you think? The dude at Samsung's like, bad idea. Would never do that.
Nobody goes to that screen. They're like, that's like the Samsung landing screen, which has gotten better, by the way. The latest version is pretty dope. You can like log into Netflix. You can log into BBC,
but have you tried?
YouTube.
Actually, I actually tried.
It's hard and it's slow. What is
like
the processor in there, Ryan? Do they take the old processors out of old, StarTech phones?
Refurb phones.
It feels like Samsung's taking the StarTech processors and putting them in their goddamn TVs.
It's software companies that they are a hardware company and not a software company. They don't have any proficiency in building elegant software solutions. That's why a lot of people are really excited about the idea of an Apple TV,
which is a lock.
Boxee is maybe. I don't know if I'd call it a lock.
You have inside info. They've been working on it, clearly. I mean, Steve Jobs said so in the book.
Well, they have the little
and
black.
You've known about it for years. That this is a
no,
possibility.
it's not been a given that they're going to do that.
But it's been a given that they're experimenting with it.
Yes, that is absolutely true. And what is definitely a given is that solutions like Boxee, although they're kind of cool, it's a short-term thing. I think
it's like
we're going towards something greater and better.
So do you think they'll be in the TV though?
Boxee? I think that they would like to be in the TV. I don't think that they have to be in the TV.
Those functions will be merged into the actual television.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's about expertise, and Samsung is in this really early, it's like the early days of PCs where everybody's trying to be completely vertical and build the software and the hardware.
Yeah.
And Samsung is building the software and the hardware for their televisions, and they don't know how to build software, and so it's a garbage experience, and people hate it. So when you buy a TV, you should just be buying it for the television and not for any of the software experiences, which is why your friend who wants to build Samsung's apps is absolutely should not do that. And then somebody with software proficiency is going to come along and figure this out.
Do you think that they'll get bought though? Then do you think Boxee's an acquisition target for a Samsung?
Yeah, well, if somebody wants to buy a team,
and Jason's like,
no, maybe not Samsung, but a Vizio or one of those Korean companies or Chinese companies might at some point say, you know what, we suck at this, and buy it. That does happen. And you see, Walmart has bought a bunch of companies. Home Depot is buying companies. A lot of these old school retailers, manufacturers are now saying we need to have a Silicon Valley location. In fact, one of the top 50 companies emailed me, some headhunter this past week while I'm here in Noe Valley, calls me 4 times a day, 2 days in a row. I have to talk to you. What do you talk to me about? We have a job for you. I don't take a job. What a job? It's a Fortune 50 company. He won't stop calling. So I finally said, okay, fine. I pick up the phone because I see the same phone number. He's like, it's a top 50 company. I'm not going to say the name of it, but they're a retailer who sells electronics. Let's leave it at that.
Crazy Eddie?
Something in that vein. Sure, Crazy Eddie. Exactly.
PC Richards.
And they say, we want you to be the chief digital officer of Crazy Eddie. We're going to totally change the company. We want to have a Silicon Valley office, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I would rather stick a fork in my eye and pull my eye out and wear an eye patch than try to save your company, but all these companies are trying
I think
to
they'd actually have you wear an eye patch and get on TV commercials.
Exactly. What a disaster. But nobody seems to get this right with the television sets. And we had Myth TV, TiVo, you have
TiVo's
Sony.
as close as it's coming. They are still struggling so much.
TiVo blew it.
They totally blew it. I mean, they're essentially an IP play now.
Yeah.
Why did they not?
They just their business model is suing people.
Historically, why couldn't they come to terms with the cable providers and somebody just for $1 per set-top box or $5?
So they actually do that, and they've done that for many years.
DirecTV,
it's an incredible. Well, not that they actually have a program that they've been trying to get rolled out to many MSOs nationwide that has been kind of in progress for 10 plus years. I think it's piloted in Boston. It's been there for like 5 years, where you get your regular crappy set-top box, your Motorola, whatever garbage, and then you can pay them a little extra, and they'll upgrade it for you to a TiVo, right? Because it's just a software experience. A TiVo box is the same as any other box. It's a hard drive with some tuners, records your TV show.
What a disaster that could
be.
But
they've never been able to pull it off, and it's not necessarily
TiVo's
fault.
You use it. Is it still better?
Oh, it's so much better.
Is it really so much better than the DirecTV one?
But you know what? It's so much better in a, this is the best of a bunch of garbage options.
Got it.
And, there's going to be an experience out there.
It's like a 6, the others are a 4.
Right. Although I think, it's kind of like tallest midget, right? Like they are significantly better than what you're going to get from a cable operator, but nobody's proven that it can be done better than them. Right. I know that somebody with some imagination can figure this out. I don't think it's Boxee, though.
Let me ask you a question. In Silicon Valley, are a lot of these hackers and Y Combinator folks and whatever, Google, Facebook engineers, not getting cable TV or DirecTV and simply going on BitTorrent and downloading a bunch of what they want?
Yes.
Is it the truth?
Yes.
So they basically don't subscribe to cable or go to the movies or Netflix. They just steal. And these are rich $100,000 a year engineers.
Yes. In fact, I know venture capitalists and pretty much everyone in Silicon Valley that I know does not watch TV in the way that the average American does. They basically have BitTorrent,
Dropbox,
stuff. In fact,
EXTV or whatever that is.
Someone rather famous was at my house the other week and is like, "Have you seen this show?" I'm like, "No," and he's like, "Well, let me get it for you." And he's like logging me into BitTorrent and stuff, and I'm like, "Whoa!"
So rich people.
I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need. And
this is why Hollywood.
Anyway. You can't buy it on.
As misguided as Hollywood is, they are correct in one respect that Silicon Valley has absolutely no respect for copyright in terms of content.
Well, okay, so it's
honestly,
not about
does it
respect.
really have anything to do with that? I mean, is it like copyright and respect? These are,
or is it just that it's
they're
easy
wealthy people and they're wealthy. Why? Why are they
yeah.
wealthy? Because they're like working their asses off. Like the Silicon Valley ethos, right?
Yeah.
Like we're all working like
and they're
dogs.
efficient. Yeah,
yeah, they're efficient, and like that is the best way to get quality content.
The best way to get quality content is to just go to BitTorrent, Pirate Bay, EX. Somebody was showing me EXTV or EX. You can get an RSS feed for a TV show.
You download a top show, it takes 3 minutes.
Right.
And it's high quality.
You can't do that anywhere.
3 minutes?
Yeah. Like if you're on a fast network, it's just like boom.
So BitTorrent is faster than downloading off of other services.
Absolutely. Especially
like paid services.
Absolutely. If it's a popular show, you have a lot of the seeds out there, so it just like comes right in fast.
See, and this is the hypocrisy of Hollywood, because I talk to all these Hollywood people, and we have some friends who are in the Producers Guild and other guilds, Artist Guild, SAG Guild, this guild, and all those guilds give screeners to their members so that they can vote and all this kind of stuff, and they get screeners. So around season, everybody has every film. So I want to go see Drive like a dummy. I got to go buy tickets to the theater. And then all the Hollywood people are like, you wanted to see this? You have to go to the theater. I watched it at home. I'm like, how did you do that? Oh, I got a screener. Oh, you don't get screeners? Oh, I get screeners. So Hollywood is getting screeners. They're hypocrites.
Right, so they don't actually understand the problem.
Yeah. They don't understand the problem.
They're watching in their home theater,
exactly.
like a private thing delivered in hand by the director.
Unbelievable.
Check it out.
Eric, you had something to say? Are you stealing movies?
Eric,
yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say. I think I was going to say...
For the record, I don't steal anything.
Okay, well, what's the point? I mean, let me ask you this question. Here's a moral question for you. If somebody bought the BluRay for $30 of a film that's coming out in 6 weeks, and they downloaded the BitTorrent and watched it last night, would that be morally okay?
I am not a lawyer.
Of course.
Yeah, you paid your money.
Yeah. You paid your money, but you got it 6 weeks.
Morally okay. Legally okay? No, definitely not.
Legally, you're going to jail. But morally, you feel like even though you got it 6 weeks early, 6 days early.
I think the
morally, nobody has a problem with that.
The real question is, okay, so you've got all these people who can clearly afford the content, and they're opting to steal it because stealing it is the best means of acquiring it. So the real question is, if you added just complete convenience from top to bottom. If you made it so like you come over to my house, hey, what's up, man?
The same speed as a torrent.
Check out this show, and then you just like type in like two things, and then all of a sudden your account is like streaming a show to my TV. If it was that convenient and you didn't have to steal the content, would you pay for it?
Absolutely, everyone would.
Yes, that's what I think.
Well, that's what happened with MP3s, isn't it?
Here's what the problem is. They have these stupid rules about when you can put something out.
The releases,
and a lot of the TV shows aren't even available. So the incident that I referred to before was a relatively famous person who's like, "Have you seen this show?" I'm like, "No," and he's like, "Let me show it to you." And he's like whipping out a torrent, not because
there's no
other way.
No other way.
Yeah, the person's got the person's got $100 cable box at home. They have Netflix for $600 a year or whatever they're paying.
They're worth tens of millions of dollars.
Right, but the point is they're probably paying Hollywood $3,000 or $4,000 a year.
Oh yeah, they're
getting in all their homes and all their TiVos and all their rooms and whatever. And yet they still have to steal to just see the goddamn show they want because they're like,
it's a complete crisis of imagination. For Hollywood.
Crisis of imagination.
They need to take that leap of faith and just assume that people are going to choose convenience.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
which was what Steve Jobs did with the 99-cent MP3.
Yeah, it's been
Who
proven.
steals music now? Does that same person steal music?
But hold on, though. They look at what happened in the music industry and they're like, "Ooh, I don't want that to happen to me."
No, the music industry's doing great. Listen, the music
industry is not what it used to be.
I know, but that's for different reasons. That's because there's so many choices or whatever. But now they have this incredible, global marketplace of subscriptions that they never had. And talk about a lack of imagination. They never even thought about the concept of having subscribers. And
I don't think the music industry thinks of themselves as entirely successful.
All right, let Eric
2011 closed with some of the lowest box office overall in the U.S. in the history.
I know, but they did a record overall by the end of the year. Didn't they do a record this year again?
Not as an industry. I'm saying going to the movies,
going to the movies.
Box office, extremely low. Like, they're already on that path, right? They know it. Yeah. They're already on that path.
How great would this be if you had a Dropbox and you could go to your Dropbox and there was a folder called Movies. You double click on it, had genre, and then you right mouse click on any file you want and say buy, and it buys it and it puts it in your Dropbox. Can you imagine? Like, because I have a Dropbox, it's on all my devices. Now I just right mouse click. There's a movie directory. It's got them by genre. I search in Dropbox, and it's in my Dropbox.
It's called iTunes.
No, I know, but iTunes doesn't have all the stuff, and it doesn't sync to all your devices unless you're all in the Apple ecosystem. Hey, let me take a minute to tell you about something that's very important. Sourcebits. These guys are great. They've done an awesome job of building mobile applications for brands that, frankly, are so busy that they don't have the opportunity to focus on the diligence and the deft, creative touch it takes to make a beautiful mobile experience like Path or Oink or all these other killers out there, Instagram. It takes a lot of focus to make a great mobile experience, and that's what Sourcebits does. Hey, they're backed by Sequoia Capital. That's a great venture capital firm, and they count Hershey's, G&E, and Coca-Cola among their clients. They've done a great job, and that gorgeous nightstand app for iOS that I was showing the other week on the show? They built that. I was using that for months. They just did that as a proof of concept. The thing's got hundreds of thousands of downloads. Everybody uses it, and they do design-led engineering, which means they try to understand the form and function of what you're trying to do, and they build it out for you, and you will get that advantage of getting your product out there quicker and doing it well. Gorgeous products from really smart people. I met with the guys over there because I was looking for somebody to help with what we're doing, and we may actually contract them to help us fill in some gaps at Mahalo. What a great company. Go check out sourcebits.com and tweet thank you at Sourcebits and www.sourcebits.com to find out how you can work with them on your next app. They've done a really tremendous job, really talented people there. And they got an office here in San Francisco, so why don't you go meet with them and tell them your Uncle Jason sent you. Mobile is important, and if you're sitting there wondering, how do we take care of this, and when are we going to get it done, the chances of you finding a mobile developer and hiring them, I don't know if anybody here is hiring mobile developers a day. How long does it take to find a mobile developer and steal them from Facebook?
I don't know, Uncle Jason. Someone should grab that, by the way.
UncleJason.com.
Uncle Jason.
And make a pedophilia site, right? It just sounds really bad. It just sounds bad. It sounds really bad. Uncle Jason. Oh, my God. Hey, listen. But it is hard to get a mobile developer. That's the number one problem for Founders Institute companies, isn't it? Finding developers.
Finding developers sucks. Yes.
And mobile happens to be the hardest because there's so few of them.
Up there.
It's all up there.
Burgeoning.
I know, but it's still burgeoning. But what's the hardest developer find? Is it mobile or is it like big data? What's the hardest one?
I would probably big data.
Big data's hardest, and then mobile second.
It's right because of demand. Big data because of supply. Mobile because of demand.
Exactly. So hey, use Sourcebits to fill in those gaps at your company and and don't miss out on the mobile revolution. Get in there, people. Okay, Eric, were you going to say something about how much stuff you steal and why? Go ahead.
Oh, well, or we could move on to Twitter. My question was basically rhetorical because you guys know the answer. It was just that why would Hollywood look to wealthy people stealing as why wouldn't they look at that as opportunists and say, well, what do they see that we're not seeing that we could make a business on?
Everybody wants the same goddamn thing, which is the celestial jukebox. They want the jukebox in the sky that they can just say, I want X and get it and put it on my bill. And move on because none of these things are that expensive that it should even matter, and especially for rich people. Like if I want to see what's the movie coming out in the next 2 what's the most anticipated movie? Avengers. If I want to see Avengers Friday night that it comes out in my house, I should be allowed to see that. And if I want to have 10 people over and have an Avengers screening and pay $100, they should take the money.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say the problem is that you have all these weird deals that have evolved over years and are locked in.
Yes.
So this movie theater has got to deal with the studio, and so there's
They can't
Yeah,
they can't fix it. But now Jarecki's film that crushed it, Nick Jarecki, the director, who's a friend of ours, his film Arbitrage did incredibly well at Sundance. It got picked up, and now it's picked up by the people who did Margin Call, that other finance film. That was day and date release. You could watch it for $25 at home instead of spending $15 a ticket.
I would totally do that.
Let me ask you a question.
That's what I'm going to do.
Totally hypothetical.
Arbitrage.
What would you pay?
Yes.
You can go around the table. What would you pay for a service that was subscription and every show ever created?
Yes.
Every movie ever created.
Yes.
Day and date. Every song ever created. No blackouts. No. Every label, every studio, every network is involved. There's none of this Hulu Plus stuff where it's like they take it offline, right? It's all there. All the time.
$250 a month.
What would you pay for that?
$250 a month. $3,000 a year.
That is insane money. Why are they not doing this?
Because you know what? I'll tell you right now. I pay $125 or $150.
For cable.
I pay $150 right now to not cable, just for DirecTV. Because I have DirecTV in like 4 or 5 rooms, all with the network DVRs, and I have every cable channel, every DirecTV channel, basically. Right. It's $150 a month. That's a lot. I know it's obnoxious, but that's what I got.
And
that
plus Netflix,
plus I have
plus
Netflix,
iTunes, plus RDO,
plus
Spotify,
Rhapsody, plus I'm a Rhapsody,
plus whatever else you have.
I'm paying
Amazon Prime.
I'm paying $175 right now.
Plus, then you got
you're already paying more than $250 for that.
No. I'm paying $200 right now.
No, I mean you add all those things together.
Yeah, I'm about $200. About $200 all in. $150 for that, and then $10 a month for Rhapsody, $10 a month for Netflix.
There's no way you could divide.
I'm at 200.
Could you imagine? But can you? That's why it's obviously hypothetical. But can you imagine a world where it's not a matter of like who's doing what and all that? And it's some is here and some is there, and sometimes it's on and sometimes it's off. But it's just like, look, here's the content. Would you just give us some money?
Yeah, I mean they have to get
so much money for that.
Well, I mean that's what the radio. I mean, isn't that what the music industry is learning from just the? I must be $1 billion now in between Rhapsody, Pandora, and Spotify. That's over $1 billion now. So I mean, they're making so much money easily. I mean, I think somebody told me Spotify is over $1 billion. Just Spotify.
They said they had 3 million subscribers.
That's incredible.
Yeah, paid in the U.S.
That's incredible. Yeah. That's $500 million, $1 billion. I don't know what that is. It's $10 a month.
Yeah,
$12 a month. Spotify.
I think they have it's like the $10 a month package.
It's crazy. I had another idea for a business. What if you had
Is Jason Fantasyland?
Jason Fantasyland. Bear with me for a minute.
Grab it.
You said $250 for that service. I said $250. What did you say?
You're
broke.
Yeah, but I would say about $30 because I think 10 years from now, We'll have all that, but it'll be back to about where early cable prices were, about adjusted for inflation.
Yeah.
But none of this $250 stuff. Once they work all the business stuff out amongst the
you are
content
delusional.
guys.
You have no idea what you're talking about. Keep reading the news. You're living in a fantasy land. It's never going to be $30. Have you seen how they've got? How did cable get up to $100+ a month?
Right.
It's unbelievable. They just did it slowly
It
over
actually
time.
started
They do it slowly,
lower,
and they
right.
keep adding more and more garbage
boiling
channels
the
that you don't care
yeah,
about.
they're
It's
boiling
a
the
bubble,
frog.
though. It's a bubble, though, right? Because you don't realize how many channels you're paying for that
It's
you'll
only a
never
bubble
watch.
if people pop it. I mean, who's unsubscribing? I guess young people are.
But
Do you
that's
have
what I
cable
mean.
at
10
home?
years out. No, I don't have cable. I'm a cord
DirecTV?
cutter. No, cord cutter.
Cord cutter.
I have Netflix.
You have
and I
Netflix.
Amazon.
So you do Amazon and Netflix, both streaming services, and there's enough there for you.
So he's definitely torrenting.
You might have to fill in.
I venture into the land of the Silicon Valley entrepreneurs with how I get some of my content. I have to admit.
All right, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it at that. I don't want this kid to get arrested.
Hey, hold
No.
on. I'm not.
No, we know Adeo is the center of. I know Adeo.
My
is-
own
Friends
My
came
friend.
over and showed me a show.
By the way, if you are looking for a great BitTorrent mirror, reflector, whatever they're called, just go to adeo.torrent.is. So, what about this for a service? $50 a month.
Sold. No, go ahead.
Well, what would you pay for your service, by the way? $250?
A lot. Yeah,
$250
probably,
free?
probably 2, 3. I mean, if you
What
if
came
you,
to your
if
mind?
you
What was the number that came?
I don't know. No number came to my mind, but more than I'm paying now.
When you heard me say
Significantly
$250,
more.
did you go?
Yeah, I was like, no. I was like, okay, yeah. So you take out cable, you take out my RDO, you take out whatever I spend on rentals, you take out Netflix, you take out Amazon Prime, you take out all those little bits and pieces that I'm paying for content across all
It
these
starts to
different
seem like,
networks.
oh, maybe
it
it's
would
plus
have to be,
75.
but
yeah,
Jason, it would have
I might
to be-
actually save money on $250.
It's true.
It would have to be good.
It would have to be good. All right, so here's my idea. $50 a month allows you to download 35, 50, 75, whatever, pick it up. One day and date release movie per month. And you have to subscribe by the year, so you pay $500 a year, 12 movies a year. Subscription, you get one theater release per month. Would you pay for that
as
service?
It was the real.
And you get
full
that- and you get
catalog.
that-
It wasn't
No.
like the IFC day and day.
No.
release.
Okay, let's say it's 70% of the day and date
Woof.
releases, So 70% or whatever. And you have a choice of any of them. So it's 24 of them. Whatever's released in there is $50. You pay $500 a year. Would you pay for that service? $500 a year, $50 a month?
Close to it. I think it would. I mean, what that really comes down to is, do you want to go to the theater? And no, I don't. I do not.
Well, going to the theater in San
emphatically
Francisco.
do not want to go to
It's
the
a terrible
theater.
experience going to the theater here, huh?
I have
Anywhere.
I have.
Not in LA. Come
No,
on. In LA,
we've
we
got
got the ArcLight.
Kabuki. Have you been to Kabuki?
Yeah, with the
Buy
food.
reserved seating.
Oh,
It's like the nice newer theaters,
Yeah.
right? You get a drink, get a whiskey.
Oh, nice.
Reserved seating. Everybody's quiet, respectful.
I have a kid. I like to get out.
Next story.
Okay, so we got a couple of interesting censorship and privacy stories. First of all, Twitter announced they can now censor tweets based on country. And they say they're not going to do it. They don't want to do it. They totally acknowledge their their role in the protests overseas and so forth. So if they do have to censor something, and the example they give is how France and Germany, pro-Nazi content is illegal. It's not in their free speech. So they'd have to censor that if someone asked them to. If they do that, they will tell you, and they will actually report it to chillingeffects.org because they want that censorship to be known.
Right.
So people are upset about this, but is there any reason to be?
No, they've totally hacked the system. Essentially, if you're in Germany or you're in Iran or whatever, you know how to get around your local IP addresses and to look like you're coming from the country. So what they're saying is, if you're a dopey person, dictator, and you want to censor in your country, we've now made it possible for you to censor in that country. By the way, everybody else in the world sees the tweet, and anybody who's got half an ounce of sophistication knows how to route around this. So it's almost like a huge FU. And because they're posting the tweet to Chilling Effects, anybody can go to Chilling Effects and get it. If you try to do this kind of, what Twitter is saying with this process is, you guys are idiots, and if you try to censor, it instantly gets routed around. So why are you bothering? That's my take on it. I mean, and what do you expect Twitter to do? Get the whole service banned in a country? It's a very savvy choice on their part to say, if we get a court order from Germany that somebody's putting out Nazi propaganda in Germany, you're not allowed to do that. I don't believe in it, but I understand where Germany's coming from. So if they want you to ban Nazi tweets, they get turned off. But anybody in Germany can go then read them if they just change their IP address and go through any mirror And if you just type in any anonymous, whatever, any IP anonymizer, or you get a VPN, you're done. No biggie.
Yeah.
What do you think, Adele? You're shaking your head. You think it's a BS move?
You're right. So we have a chapter in Vietnam, and Facebook is regularly banned in Vietnam. Like, in fact, it's like elections coming up, Facebook goes off. Guess what? Everyone in Vietnam still uses Facebook.
Right. They go to Facebook spelled backwards.
No,
right?
What happens is they have a friend in the IT department at the university that comes and sets up this IP address spoofing thing. So, yeah, I don't think this is. I mean, it's almost. You're exactly right. It's like sort of faux censorship, and the reality is, I'm sure that they won't even use it.
You have to pay lip service to the laws, otherwise you can't do business.
Right.
That's it. You just pay the lip service, and whatever. If you're a dumbass legislator who actually believes that that's going to make a difference, then fine, you're going to be sated. Everybody's happy.
And what's going to happen is, as Chris Sacca said on his Twitter stream about SOPA, like, they brought a knife to a Twitter fight. Like, if you try to stop the internet, there is not. I mean, look at our passion talking about just getting the content we want through our devices. Imagine you're from a country in the Middle East and you're just tasting freedom. Imagine the passion they have for it. I mean, we grew up with this freedom, but if you're one of those people and you're just tasting that freedom, you're not giving it away, and you're willing to jump in front of a bullet for it. I mean, these people are in the streets fighting for their Twitter and their Facebook and for their internet connections. And in people's minds, I'm telling you right now,
I don't actually think they're fighting for Twitter, Facebook.
They're fighting for the internet connection.
Just to point out a subtle difference.
Absolutely. Let me tell you something. You turn off Facebook or Twitter, people will riot in the streets, and that's what happened in the Middle East when people started censoring. The internet equals people's freedom in their mind. And you take away the internet, or you try to control the internet, people equate it with freedom of speech. They equate it with personal freedom. The internet equals personal freedom in people's minds. Anybody who tries to stop it is going to get rolled over brutally. And not only that, I've got my personal Mossad, also known as Anonymous, and I can send Anonymous out anytime I want to destroy anybody or anything. That's how the internet works now. We have a rogue group of bounty hunters, and we got Boba Fett and IG-88s who will go out there and destroy you.
Deep cuts.
Seriously, if you try to stop the internet, IG-88 and Boba Fett in the form of anonymous masks will then find out all the gay masseuse stuff you're doing as a Republican senator and all the crystal meth you're taking, and then publish it. And they keep doing it to these senators. Anyway, go ahead, guys.
How do you follow that? Right.
Follow it. Give it a shot, boys. Give it a shot. I'd like to thank CNET for sponsoring this gay masseuse crystal meth moment here on the show.
Well, okay,
but it's true. Didn't they get one of those guys, like one of the reverends or whatever, who was trying?
Let's start with the people are fighting in the streets for Twitter and Facebook. That's just not true. But I mean, you're not wrong. But I mean,
well, it's the difference between causation and correlation,
right?
The correlation is personal freedoms and internet access. So you take away Facebook, it's not that people are rioting because you took away Facebook. You take away Facebook, people are going to riot because you are now censoring them. You are now, instituting a totalitarian state. That's all.
Yes,
it's
very
they're tools.
close.
They're tools for the riots in the streets. They're tools for talking amongst yourselves.
Right, but the reality is they had these tools in different forms for thousands of years. There's the town, right? The town message board, and like where you could put or frankly,
slightly easier
nail something on the church door.
But would you not say taking away people's right to a free press and to printing newspapers is slightly easier than taking away and putting the genie back in the bottle for internet access?
Well, we're in this world where everyone has a voice, which wasn't always the case.
Right.
And so
precisely
that is a big thing. But you look, Iran is they're testing their own private internet. It's like IranNet. And
good luck with that.
To be fair, I mean, as Americans, control a lot of the internet today through the fact that we created it.
Yeah.
And that's not making us too popular in certain places in the world.
Yeah, but ICANN is now very international. ICANN's board is...
You cannot watch porn in Singapore. You just can't on the internet, that is. You cannot do a lot of things in China. They actually have full censorship regimes that actually work.
Right.
And now in Iran, there's a lot of blockages, and they're actually thinking of like pulling themselves off the internet.
And then how's that going to work for them? Do you think you're going to be able to?
The same as North Korea.
Exactly. I mean, North Korea is. I mean, if you've never
I don't see revolts in the street in Singapore. No porn. I mean,
But you know that they have a way to get to it.
And it's been there, that's been instituted for so long.
You think that in Singapore, though, they can take away the internet? Can they take away the internet now?
Well, they've taken away I mean, one could argue that porn is a big chunk of the internet.
I know, but the point is, if you
not that I would.
I think my point is, if you try to take away the internet after giving it to people,
let's be clear, you don't pirate content. And you're not into porn, so you are. I'm gonna draw a little halo.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a clean user. But the point being is that there's a lot of censorship and internet restrictions going on in the world today, and people aren't in the streets rioting.
Who hates Google's personalized search in this room? Does anybody hate it as much as I do?
I don't fully understand it.
I'm just like, I'm trying to do searches here for my news, and here's the 50 personal results. I'm like, I don't care what any of my friends say about me searching for fighting for Facebook and Twitter in the Middle East. I want to get the Google results for this.
Well, it's not even just that now. It's they've layered so many different things into the search stream. So personal results and news from news sources and other kinds of content. And now my Google search experience is filtering through all the crap that they put at the top of the page to get the actual search result that I want. I wish that where's Google Classic? Where's Google? Where's
there's
Google?
an idea.
Classic.
Google, you know what I do for Google Classic? It's Command Shift N opens anonymous mode in your browser.
Absolutely,
so
porn mode,
then you're logged out, and then that's Google Classic.
I know, but they still are inserting the news and
a little bit, but that's as close as you get to
Look
Google
at DuckDuckGo here. Look at DuckDuckGo. Middle East protests. Pull up DuckDuckGo. Look how gorgeous DuckDuckGo. It looks like it's Google from back in the day. They put a little news story up here, Wikipedia, like they have their little Mahalo-like abstract at the top, and then this is just straight up links. Oh, so much more enjoyable.
So wait,
this is Google
the panacea in search, and I know a lot of the guys at Google and Bing and stuff like that, and the panacea in search today is, eliminating clicks. And what I mean by that is if they're trying to pull
giving an
stuff
answer
into the search results to the point where you can actually book the appointment right in the search. And I get that. Wouldn't it be awesome if I wanted steak in Palo Alto and it's it pulled up Open Table in the result and just let me book it? I think that would be cool. So I actually like having that layer of functionality.
But it's two different kinds of functionality. One is I'm searching for information. The other is I'm ready to make an action. And I'm not saying that they have to be completely separate experiences, but mixing the two together is not working.
Okay, well, all right. So, but I think, can't you figure out if I'm dinner tonight in Palo Alto that it should pull up an Open Table thing versus a bunch of links to stuff?
Oh, sure. But if that's very specific, if instead I said Palo Alto steak restaurant, maybe I want to book a dinner, or maybe I'm looking for the best steak restaurant in Palo Alto.
Or maybe you're just a restaurateur that's doing research.
Right, and I'm trying to do some research here, right? Yeah. So, it gets in the way of doing research. One of the things that I don't think was
Google
on
Classic. Maybe there should be Classic mode. Don't give me, your interpretive dance.
What do you guys think about I think we have this in one of the stories. Google now, I saw on their homepage today, it says, we're combining all the terms of services into one. This is not the usual yada yada. And they've actually got some sort of a blocking page that you go through that explains, now, we told you guys that your Gmail was not going to affect your search results and that don't worry about your Gmail being indexed. That was, because remember that was a whole big brouhaha. If I use Gmail, will that somehow affect my search results? Now they're saying, actually, all that stuff we said about these being separate islands, it's all one terms of service. Every behavior you do in Google services now impacts search. That's what they're basically saying in this new terms of service?
Kind of. I've been looking, if you guys happen to know also, because I've been trying to find, will YouTube and Gmail results cross-contaminate other Google products? Because those kind of seem like stuff that we just kind of mentally think are separate. And and the new terms of service at least grant them the ability to bring those things together to give you ever more personalized search in an effort to sort of Facebookify Google.
I think this is all to make the time on site longer. Is that what they're trying to... Excuse me. Are they trying to do? Are they trying to just make everybody's time on site longer?
By what? Changing their privacy policy?
No, by saying all the services will be under one banner, the navigation at the top, the search. Here's my friends.
Google's UI
Ask your
experts
friends a
are
question.
possibly the worst in the world. My daughter could do a better job of.
But
Google
they
UI.
have to do that. They have to have a better unified.
What do you
interface.
think
I
of
mean,
the look of
products
the
are
black
so disparate.
Did you
toolbar?
hear about how they designed the Gmail logo, by the way? They did it the night before, and the product manager went up to this designer and was like, "Give me a logo," and stood over him as he did it.
Perfect.
Right. I mean, that's their UI, right? That's their logo of one of their most successful products was developed in like an hour.
Well, let's be fair. That was a long time ago. That was what 2004,
And it's gotten better?
2005. It
The
hasn't gotten
black
better.
bar?
It hasn't gotten better, but they now the story when you talk about Google design is we're going to focus group 42 Shades of Blue. That's the
Right.
story that people tell now.
Or here's what here's the
so it's gone from being totally
Horrible.
sloppy and rough to being so overly refined that it completely lacks personality.
well,
Here
there's
we
no
go.
leadership, right?
Yes.
That's the idea behind.
And yes,
Design
No
is about
vision, no
data.
leadership.
Yes, and the data is the leadership in substitute.
The
of actual-
engineers are the leadership, and they look at design as a function, and that's why, Jason, it doesn't matter if they unify all this stuff. If it still looks like crap, it really doesn't.
Has Google jumped the shark?
Has what?
Google jumped the shark. Is it downhill from here? Are these bad? Are these a series of poor decisions that mean the company's going in the wrong direction, or are these brilliant, important decisions that they have to make that will grow the company?
Larry is super smart.
We all know that.
and his leadership has not been tested yet.
Right.
So I would say it's too early to tell.
TBD.
It's too early to tell, but if you look at just what your question asked is like the series of decisions leading to an upward trend or downward trend, Google's going down. Dumb decision after dumb decision.
And replaced by whom? Facebook?
That's
Well,
already pretty.
That's pretty established at that
Yeah.
the time internet
Well, if they're
time.
going down, who's going? in
You
the
actually,
ascendancy?
YouTube time on YouTube and time on Facebook are going up. But Google is losing time, and
Like Facebook has replaced Google as
The thing is, they're so different.
Yeah.
They're still very different.
but
They're
in
competing for
in
time.
a weird way, they're not, because what do you do on Google? You look for stuff and information. There's a lot of information.
you waste
out
your
there.
time.
But the
You fill
reality right
time?
now is like I'm like little news sites and stuff are like type this in the Facebook search bar, and like you'll get. It's a
It is
different
true
experience.
that-
What am
it is
I
true-
doing on Google? I'm using search, which is not the same. I'm not going to go to Facebook to search ever.
Yet.
Right?
Yet.
I'm going to get
Wait for it.
Well, yeah, okay, fine. But right now, no. Actually, no. I'm going to say never because as soon as I can cancel my Facebook account, I will.
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't do this years ago is because we have a Facebook integration.
I mean,
on
that's the same thing.
Gadget.
It's like it's
I
so
have to
hard,
admit,
and it's
I
so.
don't like it. I don't
hate
love it. I
Facebook.
hate Facebook. I don't want to use it. Whatever. So
The
I'm not gonna-
timeline is
not gonna
terrible,
use it for
too.
search. What am I using Google for? I'm using it for Gmail.
Yes.
Right, I'm using it for YouTube.
Docs.
I'm using it for Google Docs. I'm using it for these products that
Utility.
have zero overlap with Facebook.
Right.
Yes.
And I don't love Facebook, and I don't intend to
You
use
think Facebook will do Facebook Docs, Facebook spreadsheet, and all that
But
kind
you
of
know,
stuff?
Google Docs is like a great product again with a crappy UI and terrible integration.
I don't think that Facebook's going to do it because Facebook is not about scratching all their own itches. That's what Google has been about. Google created Gmail because they wanted
needed it.
Yeah, they needed it.
And
They created
Zuckerberg's
Docs
like, it's
because
not about what you
they needed
need.
it.
This is about what
Yes.
the social graph needs.
Exactly.
This is what my vision
And
needs.
that's why they have two very different approaches to these things.
Well, here's the policy thing here. One policy, one Google experience. We're getting rid of over 60 different privacy policies across Google and replacing them with one that's a lot shorter and easier to read. Our new policy covers multiple products and features reflecting our desire to create one beautifully simple and intuitive experience across all of Google. Easy
Beautiful.
to work across Google, tailored for you. Easy to share and collect. Got questions? Understand Google uses your
I can't
data.
even believe they used the word beautiful.
I mean, just look at this. It's like,
That
who
would
is
be like,
reading this? And where
That's
is
funny.
this terms of service? Like, this isn't the. Here it is. Here's the terms of service now. Welcome to Google.
we're not going to steal your stuff.
It's actually not that long. It's pretty interesting.
No, it is, and that's why I'm surprised that a lot of tech blogs are saying that Google has violated their "Don't be evil" mantra. For it's sharing information that you've already given them between their own departments.
Google violated their "Don't be evil" policy a long time ago.
What was
I
the-
mean,
yeah.
what do you mean? It's been like a
I think-
slippery slope. Like, you know, I
Yelp.
watched that
Yelp
the
is when they
show,
did it.
like the movie Ides of March. Like, Google is the Ides of March. Like, at first they're like, we're not
idealistic, and
We're
then they're
not
corrupted.
I love my thing, and then they're like, well, I got to do this in order to continue loving him. Like I got to get the abortion, and then after the abortion,
what are you talking about?
Spoiler
the eyes
alert.
of Mark.
Spoiler alert.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, so okay,
Oh my
quick question for you
God.
guys. Google Plus social integration with the larger Google search. Everyone has an opinion about that. What do you guys think? Convenient, annoying, antitrust,
It's
or all
annoying.
of the above?
Super irritating.
It's irritating.
Is it antitrust?
It's too much. Is it antitrust? No. Because Google doesn't, it's not like people are going to stop using Facebook for it. They said they would integrate Facebook if Facebook lets them index their site. And the truth is, I have to say, Twitter and Facebook, shame on you guys for not allowing my content to be indexed. This is a resource for the world. The Twitter stream and the Google and the Facebook stream, if people are putting all that public information out there and then you say Google can't index it, and then Google doesn't index it into their product, then why don't you make it indexable?
That argument actually doesn't hold water with antitrust stuff, though, right? Like,
why? I thought antitrust
because we're taking advantage of one thing doesn't mean that prevents you from using something else,
Right.
Right? That argument doesn't work, right? I.e., in Netscape,
Right.
Microsoft still had to, go through its antitrust. Right? There's nothing to stop people from getting computers that had IE bundled from downloading and using Netscape,
Right,
And yet,
but they
still,
used that market
was
share
antitrust.
unfairly,
Right.
To
So-
that. But they also were paying people. They were telling people if you don't put IE on your computer, an OEM, original equipment manufacturer, if you don't bundle the IE on the desktop, we're going to charge you extra. So they started using pricing to do that. Or this is like a free service. So
I think the antitrust thing is like kind of interesting. What might happen there, but I
Right.
think actually more important is Google is making a crappier product now, a crappier search product, and
It
that's
is.
their bread and butter.
Yeah,
and so
such a
they're going to
bad
do
move.
way more damage to themselves by hurting the credibility of their search
Ding, ding,
product
ding. Ding, ding,
than
ding.
by potentially doing antitrust. Getting into an antitrust.
I mean,
But
that's
here's
I agree.
but can I just comment on that for a sec? The reality is they haven't been able to index social stuff anyway. So like they were caught between a rock and a hard place because like Facebook's like, yeah, you can index us, and Twitter's like, maybe, maybe not, maybe not. So Google really didn't have any choice. It's like,
Sure. Okay, if tomorrow Facebook completely threw the doors open on all public content, made it super easy for Google to index,
They would
provided
never
a
do that.
structured feed, and then Twitter did the raw data feed that they used to do with Google, where they made Google pay for it, and they gave it to Google for free, and all of a sudden there were these two major streams from Facebook and Twitter.
I
It'd be pretty
bet you
awesome.
they would.
You don't think that Google would just be like, yeah, absolutely, we're going to index that content and use it?
of course
Absolutely.
Google
Yeah,
would.
I think they would. Right,
Right,
so,
and they would actually not.
That would make the service
prioritize
better.
Google Plus,
And that would
stuff
make
the
the
way they
service
do.
better.
and that would maybe I still think that I want my Google Classic search results.
Of course you do. That's an issue of defaults. Defaults matter. The fact that this is defaulted on is so
Wait,
stupid.
Dave Morin's phrase, "Devil's in the defaults."
The devil's in the defaults, exactly. And it's just like defaults matter, devil's in the defaults, however you want to say it. Why would you default something so radical on? It's like, it reminds me of New Coke. Like, people like Coke. Like you're really going to F with them that much?
I agree. It diminishes the quality of the search results by putting less relevant stuff at the very top.
Yes.
So-
If they go, to DOJ on antitrust, all it's going to do is make them wind up with a search product that they started with, which is the one that, incidentally, I prefer.
So
And by the way, Google Plus, let's cut to the chase on that too. If you go to a site and it has 1,000 tweets, 900 Facebook likes, it might get like 6 plus
Google Pluses,
ones.
yes.
It's like, holy crow, that just goes to say a lot right there.
It's not
just look
yet-
at the
yeah.
relevant number of adoption for their core product, very low. So
Yeah.
so-
I have to say, my Google stream and my use of Google Plus has gone down, and I have 500,000 followers on this thing, and I'm not using it as much as I was, and I'm finding the relevance is a little bit down. I think I have to pare the number of people I'm following, but their mobile experience is just so bad. It's just like, my God, how could they make such an embarrassing mobile product for Google Plus? They are
Well, you know
terrible.
what? Same thing could be said about Twitter early on. The thing that was really different is that Twitter had the ecosystem of apps to innovate
Yes.
on the
Yeah, that's
interface where
true.
Twitter was not able to.
Yeah, but-
TweetDeck.
and that's what made it good,
Yeah.
right? So you can
Twitterific.
forgive Google Plus a shitty mobile experience.
Oh,
You have to bleep it.
$10. Yes,
Uh,
PayPal.
You
Jason at
can forgive them that though
$10.
if there was an ecosystem of apps that made
Yes.
it palatable.
Yes.
Which there
but
is
nobody
not.
trusts Google anymore. I mean, that's basically startups, I mean, nobody ever trusted Facebook. You know that.
I was actually going to say that earlier. That's the
that-
funniest thing about Facebook and Google is that people trusted Google in the beginning and then learned not to, and nobody ever trusted Facebook ever at all.
Exactly. It was just like, well, if you get in bed with Facebook, you're getting in bed with a bunch of asps and cobras and coral snakes and sea moccasins
Google
every other poisonous snake.
Has been burning the people that have been trying to trust them over. So they did that like app engine, and they're like, it's the same thing that we run our stuff on. No, it's not, because it goes down all the time. So I don't see Google going down all the time. Maybe Gmail, but like Google doesn't go down.
It feels like Google.
So you go on that, then they go to developers and they're like, write for Chrome. It's going to be huge. And so people would put tons of money. No one uses it.
Everyone uses
Google
Chrome.
TV.
They use the web. They don't use Chrome.
Chrome App Store, right? And like no one uses the.
They've lost
Google
a lot of
TV,
credibility. You're not
so they
trusting
go out there and like they beg and they cajole and they convince and they use their.
Well, and
don't
then
be
look at their
evil.
relationship with publishers. I mean, after the Panda update, I just said, you know what? I'm just out of the SEO business. I'm never going to build a business that uses SEO. I'm going to go over to the ecosystem of making apps.
Right.
Because I feel like at least I have a conversation with Apple. Why did this get rejected? Why is it featured? Should this...
Well, for now.
But I mean, and it is a
It'll
closed
get worse
system.
with time.
And it's a closed system. And I'm going to also put stuff on Android. But
Well,
it
look
feels
at.
like there's nobody to talk to at Google. Like, if you have a problem... It's like, who
I
do
had
you
a
talk
problem
to?
the other day, and I was like, "Oh, there's an email support," and it's like, "Give me some PIN number." I'm like, "Where do I get the PIN number? You have to do this, this, and this."
Well, I
I was
mean-
like, "It's gonna take me freaking 2 hours
And
to get
if
a PIN number."
even if you know the highest level people in Google, I know,
Forget it. Yeah, they're
I
like,
know the highest level people.
me too.
And every time I have a problem, if I ask, I don't want to say names, but Larry, Sergey, whoever, Matt, whoever, if I'm just like, hey, I got a problem, is there somebody I could talk to? They're just like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, it's your company. How do you not know who can help me? Is there anybody in the building who's responsible for anything? And they're so afraid of being Microsoft and having centralized control that they've built this management team where nobody has control. Therefore, there's nobody looking out for partners. Like, who's going to partner with this company anymore?
Here's the problem that boils down to. Essentially, what they've done is they've taken search, which you don't need any customer support. It's like either you like search or you don't like the search. And if you like the search, you're going to use it, but you don't need to write anyone about it. And then now
unless you're a publisher who was burned by their algorithm.
Yeah.
But that's that.
This is a very small cross section.
That's more on the ad side, though, I would say. And anyway, but now they have all these products that actually do need support. You do need, and they just don't. They're not. It's not in their DNA.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like they
The
are.
only products they actually provide real support for are enterprise products that you pay, right? So Google Docs, or actually I should say Google Apps, which is the enterprise suite that is Google Docs and Google everything, Google your domain and all that crap. That is something that you have to pay for by the seat.
And there's support.
And they offer support.
Yes.
But that is it.
Yes.
That's it. That's all you get. Enterprise.
And I would say that it's
No user support.
All right, one more
Yeah.
story.
I can't get in my Gmail account.
What's
I'm
left?
screwed, right?
Yeah.
Tell me
Yeah.
what's left, Eric. We'll do a speed round.
Okay, well, we got a bunch. Instapaper guy, HB1 visas. Thoughts on that? I don't know much about that.
Instagram.
Instagram. Oh, I read
Instagram.
it. Oh, okay. My
Yes,
mistake.
Instagram.
Paper's pretty awesome.
Thoughts on that, or any going once, going twice?
Oh, you mean Obama had him at the...
Michelle,
Yeah.
the other Obama.
Yeah, Michelle had it in her booth
Yeah.
on her skybox at the club.
I mean, can you imagine the skybox at Congress be like the worst thing ever?
No, but you have to say they had Steve Jobs' widow,
Maureen Powell Jobs.
Lauren Powell Jobs was in there. And it was kind of awkward. Like, they're talking about, like, Obama's talking about who the next Steve Jobs will be, and they keep cutting to her. And I was just thinking, I felt like too soon. Like, I don't know. It's like,
that is weird.
Or how when they were on the Daily Show, how when they were talking about Israel, they kept cutting to Schumer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is awkward cut.
What is that about?
So, ma'am, who do you think will replace your dead husband over the
I
course
thought
of
that
history?
was so.
Why would you say
I
that?
felt it was uncouth. I mean, I'm not. Listen, I've never been known to be the most proper guy. However, she's a widow of X number of days. Like, and you're really using that to build support for Obama's second campaign. It felt very icky. Did you have that sense or no? Did you watch State of the Union?
I listened.
Yeah, I just thought that was weird. I saw the clip where they kept cutting to her, and they're like, I'm like, why do they keep cutting to her? And then they had the kid from Instagram who's an immigrant, and they're saying, oh, immigrants create jobs. we need to figure out the H-1 visa thing. Duh. And I have to say, Obama is a terrible leader because it's so obvious. I mean, he's just terrible. Crowdfunding is something that will absolutely...
you can't believe... I mean, to be fair, like,
whatever.
He's not the terrible leader.
You know
There's
what?
there are crowdfunding bills in the House and
I know,
separate.
but
the problem
you know
is
what? The Democrats
separate.
are fighting it. The Democrats are fighting the crowdfunding bill because... I hate to make this week in politics, but the Democrats are fighting it because they're in the pocket of Wall Street, and Wall Street doesn't want to allow companies to raise money.
I hate to break it to you, the Democrats probably aren't in the pocket.
They
of Wall Street.
They are as well.
All politicians are.
All politicians. But the
it's
Democrats...
It's not exclusive.
Yeah. Listen, okay, let me just break it down for you. Number one, crowdfund. I'll just break down why he's a failure. Number one, crowdfunding is ridiculous because crowdfunding is... obviously a way to create jobs, and he's sitting up there talking about H-1 visas and crowdfunding. It's year 4 of your presidency.
The problem,
Get it done,
Jason. You can't point crowdfunding as a failure of Obama. It flies.
What about
in the
H-1B
face
visas?
It flies in the face of 70 years of legislation.
Okay,
for
what about H-1B visas? Why can't he get that solved? Why can't he solve immigration?
I mean, I'm not defending. Listen, I am not defending Washington here, but these are complicated things. You just don't say, hey, bunch of internet dudes are buying stock basically kind of illegally according to 70 years of how we've regulated stock trading in America.
Right.
And we're just going to legalize it. Why not? And like, hey, there's a bunch of smart people from India and America. Let's open up integration. It's not that simple.
Well, I think that's what a leadership is, and I have to say, like, I'm disappointed. I gave him my vote, and I feel like it's a failure.
One last government story.
He killed the Bin Laden. That was pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty hot actually. I'll vote for him again just for that. I honestly will vote. I'll vote for him again strictly based on killing Osama bin Laden. I'm a New Yorker. I got a vendetta. Go ahead.
Okay, just last story, I guess, right?
Not anymore, right?
FBI says that they want to. They're looking for a development team to build an application that scrapes and maps social media data from Twitter, Facebook, etc.
Yeah, it's called Radiant 6. They built it 3 years ago. What the?
It's even better. What's that? Oh, shit. Why am I forgetting the name of the company?
What year is it? It's 2012, and the FBI now wants to map Facebook?
Palo Alto that does all the government work is really secret. But you see its buildings.
Facebook?
No.
Google?
Oh, crap. It's like Pandorum or... No, it's...
Whatever.
Yeah.
They have this...
You know what? So now I'm confused by your response because I thought, well, shouldn't we be embarrassed that they aren't doing this already? But it sounds like you guys are saying they already know way more that's not the public stuff. So is this a red herring?
Yes. This story is BS because they tapped the entirety of the AT&T data stream.
Yeah. They're in the backbone.
They're on the backbone.
If it's not encrypted, they see it.
Yeah. I mean,
even if it is.
they see it, and if it's encrypted, but they can't do anything about it.
If it's encrypted, now a judge can get you to give your password. If you encrypt your hard drive, right? Didn't they just have that case where the judge
That's not national.
It's not national yet.
Yeah, it was a circuit judge.
The circuit judge said if you PGP, is it PGP encryption?
Whatever the encryption.
Whatever encryption you have your hard drive, the judge can tell you unlock your hard drive. So anyway, what is this story that it's 2012 and now they're looking for a team to map Facebook? They already have access to everything at Facebook.
Palantir,
yes.
Palantir is like this kind of secretive company that's like only like why are all the best engineers? Because they're hacking everything. Like I'm sure like some like Chinese minister's email account is being read by Obama.
You should behave online is as if everything you do is being recorded and seen by everybody.
Uh-oh.
That is what you should assume. If you are doing anything bad online, you should assume that it will come out. Because chances are there's some sysadmin somewhere who's looking at it and leaking it. And I mean, just look, like Facebook had this creepy... Was it Facebook that had the creepy guy who was...
You mean as a user?
Yeah, what was his name? Zuckerberg or something was looking at the photos of his ex-girlfriend? No, wasn't Zuckerberg in the early days like breaking into Zuckerberg?
He's known to hack. It was never confirmed.
He broke into the Harvard Crimson journalist emails. You can be certain that maybe Zuckerberg is behaving better today because he's got a lot more at stake. but you can be sure the rank and file engineers at Google and Facebook and Twitter are violating your privacy on a regular basis. If you don't believe that, you're an idiot. And wasn't there a Facebook person who got fired and a Google person who got fired for stalking people on the service? I mean, they fired these engineers. It happens all the time.
Well, I'll throw this out. I know for a fact that good companies have true checks and balances in place. So I know, for example,
that's how they caught the Google guy.
At Evernote, no one can access your stuff. Like, it's just not possible. So they're very careful about keeping your stuff private.
There was a Google engineer caught stalking teens and spying on chats. Boom. Here it is. On Dig. No Dig, I don't want to.
It must be true.
No, it is true because this was a whole thing. This is absolutely true.
No, I obviously it happens, so it's a matter of checks and balances.
And this guy is so creepy looking. I mean, this is what you're up against, by the way. Look at that, huh? This is the guy. This is the Google engineer.
I thought that was
here.
the teen at first, but then
spies on teens, spied on chat, stalked teens. David Barksdale, a 27-year-old former Google engineer, reportedly took advantage of his position as a member of an elite technical
Let's be fair, though. This is not the corporate agenda. This is, somebody within the company who has abused their access.
One bad actor.
It's a bad actor. My point is,
the government.
Do you not think there's a bad actor in every company?
Yes, you are right in that you have to assume the worst. Otherwise, when the worst happens, you're going to be unprepared.
Right. Yes. And yeah. Okay. And also you had, look at Apple. They had guys taking bribes on their supply chain. Evil is everywhere, and your data is not safe. Everything you do is being looked at right now, and it's the government, and it's rogue engineers. Don't do anything. I act as if my email is going to be hacked at any time. There's nothing in my email that
Jason, I think. Have you read the Ted Kaczynski book?
No. Let me tell you something. I could read you Ted Kaczynski quotes, Bill Gates quotes, Steve Jobs quotes, and Bob Dylan quotes. You're not going to tell the difference. Guaranteed. Because he made Ted
You're
Kaczynski,
on.
Yeah.
I guarantee you right now, you read me a Ted Kaczynski quote. I wish we had more time on the show. But next time on the show, we'll do Ted Kaczynski or
Steve
Zuckerberg
Jobs.
or Steve Jobs. Ted Kaczynski, Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. And I guarantee you nobody gets it right because he had so many salient points about technology or whatever, like many madmen do. Is that your point?
Yes. That at its core, yes. That if you're going to fear technology, then you should truly fear it. Otherwise, it's just kind of a latent fear and whatever. You live with it.
All right, here we go.
You take the good with the bad.
I'm reading some of these, man. They're pretty obvious.
And I would say don't fear technology, fear the law, because technology comes and goes. It changes over time. The law, the intent of what you can do with what information you have, that's constant, right?
The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race.
Kaczynski,
yes. No, I'm reading Kaczynski.
I'm really unhappy and I take drugs, Kaczynski. Imagine a society that subjects people to conditions that make them terribly unhappy. Who's that? Kaczynski. It's not Dylan.
It is important to not confuse freedom with mere permissiveness. Yeah, this is drug. This person is. This is drug.
You know what? He is a madman.
This reminds me of my friend. I have a friend who.
You have a friend?
I have a friend. Yes. I have a friend who takes.
Uncle Jason.
Uncle Jason's
your friend.
This friend, he takes Ambien, and writes me emails sometimes in the middle of the night. We both know this person, and he calls it an Ambien post or an Ambien email.
I thought that was you, dude.
No, that was not me. I've taken Ambien, I think, 3 times in my life, and I let me tell you something. That stuff works, but he's like one of those guys who wakes up on Ambien and he writes these posts, and then I'm like, I email him back. I'm like, what does this mean? He's like, I was on Ambien. Skip it.
In his sleep, instead of sleep eating, he's sleep emailing.
Sleep emailing on Ambien. If you take Ambien, hey, this has been an amazing show. Thank you, Erik Lanigan, for doing an amazing job reading the news. You did a great job. Last week I gave you a 7. This week I give you an 8. You're increasing with every show, and apparently you prepared and you read the stuff. You did get that Instagram thing wrong, but that's okay.
Instagram. I'll just say it 10 times in a row, and they'll have it.
Not Instapaper, Instagram. It's okay. They're 2 great companies. Hey, thank you, MailChimp and Sourcebits. TWiST.com. Your Uncle Jason sent you. Adeo, hey, the Founders Institute. What a great program. I highly recommend any entrepreneur or anybody aspiring entrepreneur is what I'll say. If you don't know what the hell you're doing and you want to get in there and you want to learn exactly how painful it is to be an entrepreneur, but how glorious it can be, very simple. Go to foundersinstitute.com and
Amen.
Join, and then
just go to fi.co. Really, save yourself
fi.co. It's four keystrokes, but fi.co. Join. I highly recommend it. And if look at that good-looking bald bastard there. Look at you, Adeo, huh? And I told you, I offered you 100 dimes for half the company the moment I spoke at the event. True or not true?
You exaggerate a little. It was 50,000. But,
was it?
Yeah.
All right, a little inflation there, angel inflation. No, I went to the first class, and I said, this is something special you're creating. And I said right on the spot, I'll give you 50% for half. This is incredible. Let me invest in this thing. And wisely, you didn't take the money. And what an amazing business you've built out of this. It's really, you're helping entrepreneurs around the world. And I highly recommend that people join this. It's a fantastic, fantastic program because I think it fills the need of, not for existing entrepreneurs who need money, that's AngelList. Not for developers who are coming out of Stanford, that's Y Combinator and Techstars. This is for people who, I want to be an entrepreneur, I don't know where to start.
Exactly.
What an amazing program, fi.co. And hey, Ryan Block, what a great job you guys are doing over at gadget.com, GDGT. Here it is. And if you want to go to, you guys have really great design. Hey, look at that. There's a good guy. What great design that you guys are doing over there. How many people on the team? About?
14?
Wow.
14?
Awesome. Hey, I'm on the board of the company, and it's been great to watch you guys, Peter, and your team, Peter Rojas, and you build such an amazing company. And I know there are a lot of cool things in the works. What about this? 473 Agile users have the. See, I love that. You know who has the product, who wants the product, who had the product. When I ask a question on there, I get incredible answers. Like I was having a problem with my MacBook Air. It was skipping when I watched Hulu. And then
I remember when you
and I asked that question. I was like, "What the hell is going on with my MacBook Air?" They're like, "Oh, you have MacBook Air version Riv 3. The video chip is not so good, and it does skip when you're doing HD from Hulu." I'm like, "How do I solve that?" They're like, "Buy the new MacBook Air." I was like, "Okay, well, fair enough. At least I know," because I thought I was I was about to reinstall my operating system.
Do you have the new MacBook Air? The newest one with the Thunderbolt?
I don't have it. Should I get that, the Thunderbolt one, or is it worth it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're happy with yours, don't get it.
I'm fine with it. But what does the Thunderbolt do for me?
Yeah, it's a long story.
It gets you no peripherals.
Peripherals?
Yeah, you can use nothing with it except for.
So they launched it. It's like when they launched USB and there was no USB devices. Is that essentially what they've done?
Apple makes lots of Thunderbolt stuff now.
I have the cinema display.
Like
you can
what?
plug that by Thunderbolt,
No,
right?
not the cinema. It's you have to buy the Thunderbolt display.
Ugh, I just spent like $1,500 on that 720.
No, sorry.
Oy, Gewalt.
Maybe you should have asked the question on Gadget first or read some reviews.
Exactly. You know what? Who cares? I basically buy everything and then I just give it to somebody else who works in my company. That's the good thing about having a big company. What's the story with the next event? How do I find out about the next event?
The event tour is not announced yet. Maybe by the time the show goes up, it will be.
All right, go to GD.
I think we're going to post it on events.gadget.com. I think that's where the tour is going to be.
Good,
not live yet, though, so you'll probably get a.
Hey, thank you, CNET and CBS Interactive. Everybody go watch 2.5 Men. And, there's Brian Cooley. I didn't know he's still alive. Look at that, Brian Cooley on CNET. He's got that great Brian Cooley voice, right? Yeah. Well, thank you, Mr. Beacham. What an amazing program. You are the engineer who is so sincere and who brings the show home flawlessly. My God, my engineers in L.A. are panicked right now. They're panicked that I'm never going to do the show in L.A. again. And they're like, oh, my God, Jason's left us. He's up there. He's got a better engineer. His name is Stephen Beacham. Thank you so much. He drinks a lot of beer. And he does, true. He likes the beer. He told me, no coffee. I drink beer. Everybody go check out Metacritic. That's my CNET pick of the week. Metacritic is where I found out about the film Carlos. And let me tell you something about that film, Carlos. If you want to see a great film, this is my favorite film from the last 10 years, Carlos. Carlos. It's about Carlos the Jackal. And you can see here on Metacritic, this movie has a 94. And when I saw it, it had 100. And it is 6 hours of awesomeness. It is Scarface meets Goodfellas meets pick a gangster movie or a prophet, it's one of the greatest films, and it's 6 hours of awesomeness. And I found out about it because of Metacritic. Don't see the 2-hour version, see the 6-hour version. It is awesome. It'll be the best film you've seen in the last 5 years.
You know what my favorite thing about Metacritic is?
What is it?
The lowest movie in their entire database.
Wait,
the very bottom one. Anyone want to take a guess?
I could guess. This. How was I going to think about this? Worst movie of all time.
It's not what you think. It's not like Plan 9 from Outer Space or something. It's not a notoriously bad movie. It's just a genuinely bad movie.
A genuinely bad movie is Transformers was ridiculously bad. But
any
The Tourist?
Take a guess?
Geely? I don't
Is
know.
it recent?
Well, here I am.
Give us a hint.
Here
I
I am.
like the last 40 years.
I'm on Metacritic right now. See, now this is the problem with Metacritic.
It's hard to find.
Do I have to go to the last page?
Do you want me to just tell you? I can just tell you.
Just
It's Biodome.
Really?
That's amazing.
Look at this. Whoa.
Was it Pauly Shore?
Yeah.
Is that the Pauly
Here we
Shore?
go.
That was awesome, dude. So real.
Chaos, Biodome, The Singing Forest. I've only heard of Biodome. The Hottie and the Naughty got a 7. National Lampoon's Gold Diggers. I mean, these are truly low scores. Battlefield Earth. Saga of the year
movie.
3000.
Isn't that the
It's a Scientology movie.
9 out of 100.
You can't say it on air. They're going to tear you apart.
Kill yourself.
I'm clearly afraid of the Scientologists.
No, I got a lot of friends who are Scientologists. They're actually good people. They just got a kooky.
LA Jason.
And the Mormons.
It's kooky around the edges, but it's basically talk therapy. That's the. All right, we have to stop the
basically a
show.
legal
How long is
cult.
the show, Stefan?
It's been about an hour and a half.
Really? Yeah. No, you're kidding.
No,
Can I call you Stefan?
sure.
Or is it it's Steven?
It's Steven, yeah.
I'm going to call you Stefan from now on.
A lot of people call me Stefan.
Yes, Stephen Beacham, what a great job you've done. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you, Jim Lanzone and Rafe Needleman. Pronounced that right, Needleman, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Rafe, I just say Needleman, but it's Needleman. There's a D in there. Rafe Needleman of Rafe's Radar. That was his old thing that he used to do, was Rafe's Radar. Or Catch of the Day he used to do at Red Herring. I kind of was old school.
Both of those, yeah.
Both of those. Yeah. Rafe's Radar, Catch of the Day. What a great guy. And he's going to judge at the lunch conference. We'll see you all there March 7th and 8th. Thanks, everybody.